Welcome back to New Rockstars, I'm Erik Voss, and a long-lost deleted scene from Thor Ragnarok has leaked online. And even though the movie came out a few years back, long before Thanos came into our lives, oh god, phrasing, it's pretty fascinating to go back and pull this thing apart for the odd ways Taika Waititi's early cut of the film almost went, and for clues pointing to Waititi's plans for the upcoming Thor Love and Thunder, connections to Avengers Endgame, and future mythology of the MCU. So let us break it down. Okay, this was the alternate Odin death scene that Waititi shot early in production, which we saw some leaked set photos for, with Anthony Hopkins dressed as a homeless person. After outing Loki as the imposter Odin on Asgard, Thor takes them to New York, where in the final cut they discover that the retirement home Loki left Odin in has been demolished, leading the two to Doctor Strange's Sanctum Sanctorum and search for Odin's new location, which they find to be the cliffs of Norway. And it was in this reshot version of the scene where Odin peacefully fades away, leading to Hela's arrival and destruction of Mjolnir. But us trailer breaker downers remember a shot from the Ragnarok promo showing Hela cracking that Uru in an urban alleyway, not a grassy cliffside. So we know this sequence was changed, and only now do we get to see the full original version. So let's take a look.
What have you done to him?
I had to strip him of his memories, disguise his existence.
Father!
No, I found it first. I found it.
It's all right. We're here to take you home.
Home?
That's right.
There is no home. There's no hope. Asgard is not a place.
Father, it's me, Thor.
I know. You're my son, Thor.
Yikes. So right away we can see why Waititi reshot this. Despite Hopkins' impressive commitment to the bit, it might have been a step too far in Taika's wacky irreverence that works so well throughout the rest of Ragnarok. But yeah, a bit much to see the esteemed ruler of Asgard collapse into a babbling, sick old man. Yeah, it's kinda sad. But hey, we can still laugh like assholes, because check it out. Odin's wearing a red sweater, gloves, he's got unkempt hair. Guys, this is the exact same look Thor takes on when he later lets himself go in Endgame. It's as if they considered this state too deep of a rock bottom for the great Odin. But for Thor's rock bottom? Hell yeah, let's turn that rock bottom into a flabby one. I also like how aggressive Odin is about the booze that he found, just like how slob Thor in Endgame was all about that new Asgard ale and the Asgardian liquor he was looking for during the time heist. And among Odin's mutterings is the phrase, Asgard is not a place. One cool element of crazy old Odin in this deleted scene is that his words actually end up having meaning throughout the story that would follow. Thor and Loki hear this as just cryptic nonsense in Act 1, but by the end of the film, Asgard is not a place would bear the deeper thematic message as the two lead the Asgardian refugees away from the ruins of their home. Asgard is not a place, it's a people. People? People. Uh-oh. Moving on.
Your lawless nature, the storms within you, you inherited from me. You are my son. Both my sons. I'm sorry I failed you.
Aw, Tom Hiddleston plays this moment with such great heartbreak over Odin recognizing him as his son. He actually had a similar reaction in the reshot version of this scene.
My sons.
And in this case, it's even sadder because Loki just told Thor that he wiped Odin's memories. It's Loki's fault that Odin is so senile here, yet still, Odin's able to break through this senility to connect with his sons. And notice the posters on the alleyway walls. One says Journey into Mystery, a nod to the title of the Atlas comic series in which Thor debuted in 1962. And in other shots of the alleyway, you can see posters reading Thunder and Love, suggesting that Taika Waititi had the idea for the title Love and Thunder in his head for several years. And in the context of the scene, the words reflect the emotional subtext. Odin is passing his love and his thunder onto his boys. He mentions the storms within you, words that will later apply greatly to Thor, whose abilities of the god of thunder are always within him, able to be harnessed without Mjolnir. Onward.
What'd you say?
Ragnarok! Ragnarok! The fall of Asgard. And I cannot hold her back any longer.
Back who? Who are you talking about?
The goddess of death. And she comes with chaos and havoc.
Odin's fear is just so Shakespearean, like a crazy old soothsayer. And while it doesn't totally befit his character, you can see what Waititi was going for here, using Odin as a metaphor for how Asgard as a whole has fallen into despair. Its time coming to an end. Now, I'm super fascinated by Norse mythology and the whole concept of Ragnarok and how this Thor movie embraced that let things end philosophy instead of, fighting it to force things into cheesy happy endings. And as I've been exploring this subject, one title that I have been loving is Neil Gaiman's Norse mythology mythology. You know, Gaiman himself is no stranger to comics lore and their connection to ancient myths. And right now I'm listening to this on Audible, and this video is brought to you by Audible and their unmatched selection of audiobooks and other audio products. Give yourself the gift of Audible. Membership includes 1 free audiobook a month and 2 Audible originals. Unlike a streaming or rental service, with Audible, you own your books and you get to keep them even if you cancel. In addition to Gaiman's Norse mythology, Audible also has tons of Dune, Star Wars, Game of Thrones titles. It's pretty much a sci-fi and fantasy audio paradise. Members stay motivated and inspired with unlimited access to exclusive guided fitness and meditation programs, perfect for helping you stick with those New Year's resolutions. They have podcasts, theatrical performances, A-list comedy, and exclusive Audible originals that you won't find anywhere else. Start listening with a 30-day Audible trial. Choose 1 audiobook and 2 Audible originals absolutely free. Just visit audible.com/newrockstars or text New Rockstars to 500-500. Again, that's audible.com/newrockstars or text New Rockstars to 500-500 for 1 audiobook and 2 Audible originals absolutely free. Let's move on to the rest of this deleted scene.
It's begun already. There is no escape. So seek out the fire. Seek out the fire! Come on!
Okay, the portal VFX are unrendered here because, they never released the scene, no sense of spending all the hours finishing it. But Odin tells Thor, seek out the fire, blasting him with a premonition of fire wiping out Asgard. See, again, Odin's nonsense is actually disguised wisdom. Odin is tasking Thor with finding the eternal flame, the one that they use to awaken Surtur. And as Thor returns from the vision, you can hear the rumblings of a thunderclap.
Come on!
And Odin completes his rite of succession in the next clip.
Wait, Father.
Preserve the peace. Cast aside selfish ambition. Act only for the good of the realm.
Wait,
It
Father.
is done. Settled. I surrendered my power to you.
Okay, Odin is passing on his rulership of Asgard to Thor and passing his powers on to him too, but in doing so, he also leaves Loki with some fatherly wisdom. He says the word,
Kneel.
What?
Kneel!
it's almost as if he knows how Loki used that word a few years earlier.
Kneel before me.
I said.
Odin is telling Loki, you don't force your subjects to kneel so they cower before your might. You ask them to kneel as a symbol of respect for the responsibility of a ruler to put aside his selfish wishes and serve his people. Next clip.
Seek out the fire.
Okay, Hela arrives, and once again, Odin repeats, seek out the fire, knowing at this point there is no chance to save Asgard. The only hope is to take down Hela with it. Loki and Thor power up. Thor hits his umbrella on the ground to turn it back into Mjolnir. As we saw in the final cut, it's a nod to the original Thor comics in which Thor walked around in disguise, masking his hammer as a walking stick that he would tap on the ground to turn back into Thor. Moving on.
You took everything from me.
You gave up everything to pursue your twisted dream. Your way was cold and brutal.
Still is.
Okay, an interesting moment between father and daughter here. Later in the film, Hela explains that she once fought alongside her father. There was a theory based on Odin's spare Infinity Gauntlet and his vault that Odin and Hela once pursued a similar warpath for the Infinity Stones that Thanos and Gamora would later repeat, but that Odin backed out at Vormir. So Hela kills Odin, and there's another heartbreaking reaction by Loki as he screams, his face full of regret that he abandoned his warrior father into this undignified end. And while Hela killing Odin would make her a far more fearsome villain in this film, it does kind of muddy the equally heavy emotional breaking point for Thor, which comes in the next clip.
Bring us back!
Yes, here's the moment from the early Ragnarok trailer that I mentioned. See, in both this version and the final cut, it does remain a mystery what happened to those shards of Uru that were left behind. Because, it's still a valuable Nidavelirian ore. Just saying, it would be a very interesting loose end for a future MCU film to pick back up. And as they teleport away in the Bifrost, we get a great look at potato-y CGI Thor, and we move on to the final seconds.
Asgard is now ablaze.
Yes, Odin's final words repeat the deeper theme of Ragnarok that Asgard is not a place, it's a people. And we get this money shot of her sweeping back her antlers. God damn, I hope Hela somehow survives Searcher because I just love this villain and I need her back in Love and Thunder. But which version of the scene do you prefer? Comment down below with your thoughts. Follow me at EA Voss, follow New Rockstars on social media, subscribe to New Rockstars on YouTube for breakdowns of everything you love. Thank you for watching, and remember, the Blue Dungeon, it's not a place, it's a peephole. Oh man, it's the men's showers. Oh, nice.